Hi, this is Jason here at RoofSnap.
And Katrina.
Thanks for joining us. We have another frequently asked question for you today.
Yeah, we do. This is a multi-part kind
Well,
of demo.
at the end of the day, we're going to have multiple managing your office, frequently asked question, short tutorial videos, because there's lots of things when it comes to managing your materials.
Mm-hmm.
So really, at the end of the day, I think it's how do I manage my materials?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, part two. So in regard to that, make sure you're logged into roofsnap.com on the website. You're going to want to be on a computer or a laptop. Don't try to do this on your iPad. It's way too difficult. Much easier with a mouse and a keyboard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good point.
Once you've logged in, go into materials. And specifically, we want to talk here about managing pricing and options for different offices. So the very first thing you want to do if you have more than one office set up is come here where it says office and click on it. There we go. And you get this drop down. So we have XYZ Roofing as our primary office, and then we have a sample office in here we haven't done any customization to. But if I switch to the sample office, it's then going to change and load in all the categories for my sample office. But the one I want to manage today is the primary office, XYZ Roofing. There we go. So it changes and loads in all the items and pricing that we have for that office. Make sure you have selected the correct office whenever you go in to change or manage your pricing. Mm-hmm. Now, when you are managing cost and coverage and material and labor for all of your items, you're going to want to see the detailed view. The simple view is just not going to cut it. The simple view only lets you set price for each item. And the detailed view is going to make things a lot clearer. So let's click on that in the right corner here. And now we have all the columns. So as you can see, we are in the materials category. We are in the starter shingles category. And what we want to do is talk about the coverage ratio, the labor cost, the material cost, factor, and the total price for each item. Coverage is pretty self-explanatory here. How many unit, and the unit for starter is linear foot. You can see that on the far right. So how many linear feet can we get from one bundle? Mm-hmm. Well, according to the manufacturer for this item, we can get 100 linear feet. Material. So some people might think, okay, this is the cost of the bundle. But that's not how estimating works here in RoofSnap. The estimating is the price based on how many linear feet are being installed. Mm-hmm. So you have to take the cost of the bundle and divide it by the coverage. So let's just say for easy math that the bundle costs $30 and it gets 100 linear feet. So the material cost per linear foot is going to be 30 cents per linear foot.
Gotcha.
That's how the math works on materials. And we'll talk about shingles briefly here in a second. Now, again, starters are shingles, but they're not shingles. They're not the field shingle. They're not the shingle that's applied to the whole roof plane. They're an edge material. Mm-hmm. Now, labor. So you may pay labor based on linear foot already. You may not pay labor on starter at all. But let's say you pay a per square price for all shingles, regardless of starter, hip and ridge, or field shingle.
Okay.
So to make the math easy again, let's say your labor is, do I have a calculator on me? Katrina, do you have a calculator on you?
I don't.
No calculator.
I wonder if we can find one here.
Yep, go to my, go here.
Oh.
And type in calculator. There it is. All right, Katrina's got the calculator all set. So let's do the math. $50 per square. Well, how many bundles are in a square? 3. Average for a normal architectural shingle. Mm-hmm. So take 50 and divide that by 3. And that means that you would pay $16.67 rounding up per bundle. Now, a bundle covers 100 linear feet, so divide that by 100. And that gives us 17 cents per linear foot rounding up. So let's go ahead and put in 17 cents. Now, factor is something that you can control here that ultimately determines what gross margin you're looking for on each job. So as a little helpful hint, there's a little question box here next to factor. We'll click on that. And if your desired margin is 15% gross margin, 20%, 25%, then you can use these predetermined factors. Or you may already know what your factor, or what some people will call your multiplier, needs to be for each line item. Let's go with a 35% gross margin on this item and type in the 154. So we'll close that. We're going to change this factor to 154. And that gives us 72 cents of price per linear foot. Now, we'll talk about factor again here, but I want to switch over to a product that people are most familiar with, and that would be a shingle. Mm-hmm. So let's move to shingles. Go to architectural shingles here and address the Timberline HD. So here, it's a little bit different. Coverage for a shingle is not how many squares can we get out of one bundle. It's how many bundles does it take to cover one square. Mm-hmm. So the ratio is reversed. Let's see how that works out with regard to the math. You know how when we talked about material, we divided by the coverage. Mm-hmm. But under shingles, we are always going to multiply by the coverage. If a bundle of GAF Timberline is going to cost us $25, and it's 3 bundles per square, well, the math is easy. We need to put in $75 here, as we already have, to give us the material cost. And then labor is per square, and most of our customers are already calculating out their labor pay per square. Mm-hmm. So let's say you pay $50. Oops, delete out the 45 and put in $50. And that gives us our labor. So our labor at 50, our material at 75, and then let's change it to a 1.54 for a 35% gross margin. $192.50. Now let's say you don't charge $192.50, you actually charge $200. Now again, this is just the install. This does not include steep charges. Those are accounted for in another area. It does not include second story. It does not include second layer. It does not include tear off. This is just the install. Mm-hmm. But here's my point. If you manually change the $192.50 to $200, it will readjust your factor for you automatically. Great. So you don't have to put in a factor. You can put in a total price, and one will adjust and balance the other. Okay. So that's it for this video on setting coverage, labor, material, your markup, and your total price. But at the end of the day, just remember, with shingles, you're taking your material cost per bundle and multiplying it by the coverage. But on material items, there we go, get back to starter. It's reordering, that's why. All right, so with starter, it's the opposite. So you take the bundle, the cost of one bundle of starter, and you divide it by the coverage. So that's why we have 30 cents per linear foot here.
Gotcha.
All right, we'll be back with part 3 of managing your office.